This tutorial is about how to instantiate an object in your world class, and then how to use its methods to initiate it under different circumstances once the method starts executing when you click on run. So the first thing you have here is I have a galaxy actor, and that galaxy actor in its act method turns 1 degree. So every time the act method is called. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to show you how what happens when you click run. So I'm going to first instantiate a new galaxy just manually and put it on my world, and then I'm going to hit run, and now you see it spins, right? So let's pause that and compile it to remove the world. Now the problem is, of course, there's no way to save the state of my that I do set up my world in using the manual method by clicking new galaxy here. So what I want to do is I want to create a galaxy inside of my world class when the world class is initiated. And the way to do this is simply double click your world class, and this opens up over here. I have it set up so that it's opening up over here. This opens up your editor, and now we're going to create a new instance of the galaxy class. So what we do is, of course, we have to define what type of object it's going to be. It's a galaxy, and give it a name. So I'm going to call it G1, and assign it to a new instance of galaxy. All right, and always remember the semicolon at the end of line. And then I add it to my world. So I use this keyword, which just refers to star encyclopedia itself. So this dot add object, which is the method in a world class that creates, or sorry, I mean that adds an object that you have instantiated into it. So the first argument that you have to pass is the identifier that you gave your galaxy or your actor, whatever it is that you're placing there. So this is G1 for me, and then you pass the X coordinate. I'm going to set that to 100, and then I'm going to set the Y coordinate to 100 as well. And now, of course, when I compile this, I see that I get no syntax errors here. It says class compiled, no syntax errors. And then immediately on my right here in my viewer for what my world looks like and where I can execute the code, I can see that immediately I get a galaxy instantiated and placed in the world from the get-go. And when I hit, I just compile that or make sure it gets compiled. You see it's already there. When I hit run, it's rotating. So great. Now let's just add a second galaxy. So we're going to create another instance of the galaxy class, and I'm going to call it G2. That's my identifier for my second galaxy. And I need to use the new keyword, which is the keyword for instantiating classes into objects. And once I've done that, I can add it to my world as well. I'm going to add it in a slightly different position, of course, otherwise the two things would just overlap each other and we wouldn't be able to see one of them. So the one that I'm going to add is G2 in this case, and I'm going to pass this a different X coordinate. So I'm going to pass 400. That's going to place it slightly further over to the right, somewhere about here. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I am going to use the same Y coordinate. That means that from the very top, it's going to be 100 pixels down as well. So I estimate it's going to be somewhere about here. So if you don't get it precisely where you want, you just have to experiment with that. So Now I compile that to make sure there are no errors in my class. You see no syntax errors. And then I compile the whole world. And here you can actually already see it. There are two of these galaxies now. And it was about roughly where I wanted it to be. So I compile again just to make sure everything is okay. And now when I run that, you see both of them are rotating. But you can see that they're rotating exactly, they look exactly the same. They have the same initial rotation. So the spirals are always sort of in the same position. Now I'm going to change that. And the way I'm going to change that is, let's pause that. And in my world class, when I'm initiating everything in the constructor, this is the constructor method for my Star Encyclopedia class, and in there for my second object I am actually going to rotate the galaxy slightly. So what I do then is I use the identifier that I chose for that specific instance of the class, which in this case is G2, and then I use a dot. You see, this is exactly like I did up here, up here and here, which is this dot, but this refers to the instance itself of Star Encyclopedia. But in this case, in G2 refers to my second galaxy here. So that's the identifier. And then once I've done that, I can call its methods, and the instance of that instance of the galaxy class, that object is going to act in the way I want it based on what I've defined for my method. So I have some built-in methods, of course, that Greenfoot supplies. So I am going to use the turn method, which is built into JavaFoot, and I'm going to turn it by, let's say, 90 degrees, right? So that's initial. So let's compile this and pay attention here, close attention. You're going to see that these spiral arms are no longer going to be exactly in the same place for both objects. And when I compile that, you can immediately see that they are not exactly the same. So this spiral arm is now 90 degrees. It's gone from being, let me see, it's gone from being that one. So you see, actually it's much easier to see it here on the axis here. This has this axis, and this is switched over 90 degrees, right? So you can see if I would turn it 180 degrees, they would both align along the same, but this spiral arm would instead be coming out from here, and this spiral arm would be coming out from here, right? So let's see how that happens. I hope I described that correctly, but you're going to see how these two things are suddenly going to align, but really it's turned 180 degrees. So let's see how that happens. So 180, right? So I compile that, and as you can see, they're now aligned, they're parallel, but really this point is up there on that one, and this point is down there on the other, on that one. So now let's go back to just rotating it 90 degrees so you can really see that they're different, right? So again, now that one is aligned that way, and that one is aligned that way. Now what happens is, let's compile that again. Now what happens is when I press run, you can see that they're going to be rotating both of them, because of course, let's pause that and let's go into the galaxy. Both of them are instances of the class galaxy, and they have this, in the act method, they have this turn 1 degree every time act gets executed automatically. So, but they are not rotating exactly in synchrony. They are offset, right? They're rotating at the same speed, but this one is constantly facing 90. This one is, or they're each constantly facing, rotated 90 degrees away from each other. So let's run it again and see how that works, right? So you can see how that is. This one is rotating like that, and this point is This point is down here now. This point is up there, right? So, of course, we could add as many as we wanted to. We could add another spiral galaxy here, rotated maybe 45 degrees, you see. But the important thing is that it's really up here in this, it's really this line of code here that makes sure that G1 and G2 are not perfectly aligned along the same parallel axis there, so that they're offset and they act differently. That's it for this tutorial.